in a minute as well. Event is starting. Come on, YouTube. Alright, YouTube, what is going on? We are live, of course. Where else would we be? We're only here only on Ivan on Tech. And I'm back from vacation. Because many of you guys have been freaking out during the past several days and basically asking me, Ivan, where are you? Have you left YouTube? Are you gone forever? But guys, of course not. Of course not. It's just that I told in my live stream that I'm going on vacation for 3 days. And some people just did not see it. And they were texting me and asking, is YouTube over for Ivan? Of course not. We are officially back from vacation. We're back on track. We're back to business. And it is exciting to be here once again. I have missed you guys. That is why I'm doing this stream. It's not even morning. It's not even morning, and we're still doing Good Morning Crypto, because even though it is evening here in Sweden, somewhere else it is morning. So I want to welcome everyone back to the stream. I see Cryptoverse in the chat, red hot. Shana, Ivan, Noel, welcome. Berlik, welcome back, Ivan. Thank you very much. We're gonna wait for people to drop in. We're going to have a little chit chat here, just relaxing. I have a chicken in the oven, so I have to go in maybe like 40 minutes or something. The chicken is in the oven, and when I hear the smell, when I sense the smell of chicken, it's time to go. But until then, we're going to talk about the prices, the markets, Bitcoin, technology, how technology is evolving. We're going to take a look at GitHub. As usual, for me, it's very important to see GitHub. I mean, I don't care about Fibonacci retracement. I don't care about support, resistance. All that is wonderful, but for me, technology, what is happening in the tech space of cryptocurrency, that is what I care about. And therefore we're going to take a look at GitHub and see how Bitcoin is actually doing. Ethereum, are they working? Where's Vitalik? I haven't seen Vitalik for ages. Have you seen Vitalik? Anyway, we're going to see what they actually are doing. And then we're going to, you know, interact. Maybe we can have an AMA. Just Coins TV asking, vacation where to? I was in Estonia. I'm back from Estonia and ready to roll. So guys, it's amazing to see all of you here. I see Fabrice. I see Fabrice in the chat once again. Welcome Fabrice. Welcome Jan Digilov. Welcome Mad Cow. Mad Cow. It was a while back. But anyway, amazing to see all of you here, guys. And if you haven't, check out business.ivanontech.com, which is our new course we will launch in October, and now we are on pre-sale, so you can get 50% off. Basically, we teach you how large corporations, big businesses use blockchain today. For example, you hear about Walmart using blockchain. What are they actually doing? What kind of blockchain do they use, and how do they incorporate blockchain into their existing business models? Basically, we want you to be a specialist that understands normal IT infrastructure. We will teach you all about that, and blockchain IT infrastructure, and how you merge those two. Specialists in this area are extremely rare, guys, extremely rare. So that being said, smash the likes and we will get straight into the contents of this stream. Basically, looking at the markets over the past 24 hours, Bitcoin minus 0.3, Ethereum minus 0.9. Anyway, it's kind of depressing. Nothing really has happened, and we're still in the bear market. The hopes of a bullish trend that we had a few days ago seem to be gone. Looking at the big winners, we have BAT 21%, congratulations, 0x 16%, and it's very important to realize that we have some very significant news about BAT and 0x. And many of you may probably know this news, but for all of you who don't know, you will learn why BAT and 0x are up today. You will learn all about that, because that is also something extremely significant that has happened to those two coins. But anyway, the main question everyone has on their mind is, of course, what is happening to the markets? Are we recovering soon? People want to see recovery. People don't want to wake up each and every day and see Bitcoin in red. And you know, even for me running the YouTube channel, I have a metric that many people don't have. Only YouTubers have this metric. And basically it is just general interest in cryptocurrency contents, and how many of you guys watch the stream, how many of you guys are actually interested, and so on and so forth. And of course, during the past maybe 3 months, everything has been declining. The viewership is declining, subscribers are still gaining because I'm doing videos every day, so the subscribers are still growing, not at the same rate as previously, but I think our channel is growing pretty fast if you compare to other crypto channels, because we are doing things every day. But the growth is also not as it used to be. And this is of course in larger perspective also true. If you look at just the interest for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, it is at all-time lows almost. And also you see, for example, related terms such as Binance, it is also at all-time lows. Also, if you look at other terms such as, for example, short crypto, you see this interesting movement here as well, that you saw some increases during the past during the past days, during the past weeks, although we are in the bear market. So here you understand the increases in searches for shorting crypto during bull market, because everyone's searching for everything crypto related. But in the bear market, people are still searching for shorting Bitcoin and shorting cryptocurrency. So overall sentiment when it comes to crypto seems to be pretty negative. And obviously people bring up this this chart. Let me see if I can show you this, guys. People bring up this chart basically looking at this as a classic bubble. Where are we currently? And some people even say that, you know what, Bitcoin will not go up until everyone has given up hopes, until everyone is just pure negative, until everyone has just left the market and is very, very bearish towards cryptocurrencies, nothing will go up. And the problem I have with this chart is the following. Some people say that we are in denial. And the funny thing is, I saw in the comment section just before the stream, some people said that, you know what, we're still in denial. People are still not really convinced that we have reached, that we will go further. People think that we have reached the bottom. So basically there is this opinion that we are still in denial and that we will go even lower because it is just temporary. And the reason I have a problem with this worldview and the view on the markets, although nothing here is financial advice, obviously just my own personal opinion, is because of this: institutional investors. Do we have institutional investors in the market? I think we absolutely do not. We do not have them. To small extent, some of them are already here. But just looking generally, they are not here. I mean, they hardly understand what is happening. And the interest for institutional investors was created during this bubble, during this huge spike. And the reason I know that is because we at Stockholm Blockchain, I mean, we have been in contact with institutional investors. And they ask us questions, and they did that during December, January, February. That was when the interest was the highest. But of course, they do not enter at these high levels when we were at 20,000. They do not enter because they are finance professionals, and they do not get drawn into this hype. They do not get drawn into this FOMO train that we saw during the December and November and those months. So therefore, I would suggest that, I mean, we may be here. I mean, I think we're here. I think we are somewhere here. Now, of course, no bubble is the same. No bubble is like any other bubble. And although, as I mentioned, not financial advice, I'm not buying that institutional investors have already entered the field and that we've seen this mania phase when it comes to mainstream mania and when it comes to public mania. I think we are still to discover this mania. Now, that being said, I think the crypto itself is a bubble when it comes to projects just being very, very grand ideas, and it might take years until we actually see this infrastructure being delivered, just as with the internet. I mean, these are the classic examples I'm always talking about. Internet did change the world. The technology was wonderful. It changed a lot of things, but it took time. People overhyped it. We saw a bubble crash. The same is with trains. My two favorite examples is internet and train mania in Great Britain. Trains did change the world. They changed how tourism works, how production works, and so on and so forth. But people overhyped it. And in Great Britain, 200 years ago, you saw railway mania, which also was a bubble. So in that sense, I think the crypto bubble can get much, much, much larger. It is still a bubble. But normal, you know, grandmas and grandpas and the normal people, they know about crypto, but even during December and January and February and November, they still did not invest. They knew about it, but if you actually think how many people invested, how many people actually went to Coinbase, did all of the KYC necessary, and they did all of the, you know, really the problems you have to deal with in order to even be able to buy cryptocurrencies, which is still a lot because you need to verify yourself, you need to send in your ID. I think very few people actually did that. If you look relatively, if you look in relative numbers, and also you have to realize that many people do not trust Coinbase and do not trust foreign companies. For example, people in Sweden, will a normal Swedish, you know, mother or a woman in 50s or 40s, will she really send her ID to Coinbase? I think not. The reason I'm saying that is because I had this experience with my mother. She was like, should I really send my ID to here? Are you sure this is a legit company? I do not see this as a Swedish company, so I'm not trusting them. So this is why I'm telling you that if you look at normal people who are outside the US, they see an American company, they are not trusting it as much as a company is in their own country. And therefore, I think relatively few people actually got into crypto financially. They maybe got into crypto just interest-wise, they were interested, but financially, I do not agree with the fact that we have reached the public phase here. Of course, it's up to the debate. Maybe you think that we already are here. Maybe you think we have already passed public and we are in denial. And people still have not agreed on the fact that we will go even lower. It might very well be the fact. And I'm not, no one knows, like no one knows how low we will get. But still, my personal view is that we are not in public, where we haven't even reached institutional investors. We may be somewhere here, but you know, we're somewhere here. Like if this chart showed a crash here, I think we're here. And institutional investors are still to come. And when it comes to the news, that is what I think is so interesting. When it comes to news, when it comes to attracting institutional investors, it seems that that crypto is in a very good position, just looking at the past few months, because we have Coinbase custody being developed, and this is infrastructure for institutional investors. Coinbase custody is being in place. Number two, you have Bitcoin ETF at CBOE being pushed forward. Who knows if that will be accepted? I think there are good chances that it will be accepted, but when it comes to the ETF, it is another infrastructure piece that will be put in place for Bitcoin to really gain access to those large capitals held by institutional investors. So when it comes to news, I think we are in a very good position. And also just generally for me, when it comes to cryptocurrencies and when it comes to Bitcoin, it's either that we will go to zero, that, you know, crypto will just not work out. We do not cross this chasm as people usually speak about. We do not go from early adopters to mainstream. Either that, or it will be worth a lot more than today. I mean, maybe 100,000, maybe 200,000, but personally, I'm having a hard time seeing that we will be at some kind of middle ground. Either it will not work out and people will lose interest in this completely, or it will. Just thinking long term, like 50 years in the future, 100 years in the future. I do not see any middle ground when it comes to cryptocurrencies, if you're thinking really long term. And something else that is important for me is the technology. Are people still working? Do we still have interest from the development community to join? Because you realize that developers are the most important thing here, for me at least. And this is how I view the markets. Other people might instead do technical analysis, and they might look more at the price development and charts and Fibonacci retracement lines and all of the other candlestick patterns that you have. And that is wonderful, and there is many people on YouTube doing that, but that is not how I see it. I mean, short term, sure, you can kind of see, but for me it's all about technology. Are people working on this today? Do we still have interest in this? And so, for example, looking at Bitcoin, you have the following situation. Looking at the past week, we have 15 authors, basically 15 different developers, pushing 23 commits, 23 changes that are bundled together in 23 commits. All in all, we have 2,500 additions, basically code being added, and 1,700 deletions, code being deleted. And both additions and deletions are good. And sometimes people ask me, but deletions, isn't it bad? It isn't red. Aren't deletions automatically something negative because you are removing things from the code? And this is very important to realize that deletions are good. Sometimes you want to delete code to optimize it, to make it more smooth, to remove unnecessary code, to remove complex code and maybe make it simple. So both deletions and additions are good. Now looking at Ethereum, we are looking at let's actually look at 1 month here as well. Looking at monthly statistics, we have 34 authors in Bitcoin. In Ethereum, you have 28 authors. So slightly few people have contributed to Ethereum during the past month compared to Bitcoin. Basically, this can give you a clue about how the open source community is doing in the different projects, because realize that most of developers are not getting paid. They're not getting paid to do this. And obviously in Bitcoin you have Blockstream paying some developers, but I think generally most of people who push pull requests and who try to get their code into Bitcoin, if you just look at sheer numbers and absolute numbers, most of them are not getting paid. And this is also a very important indicator to keep in mind, that if you have people still wanting to do this, still wanting to develop, still wanting to commit code, still being proud of being a Bitcoin developer, it is a positive thing. Because it's all about open source. To a large extent, some people are very surprised by this, but open source communities to a large extent are driven by pride. Developers want to have in GitHub in their profile that they have been contributing to Bitcoin, and this can give you very, very good employment opportunities. I mean, for you as a software developer, it's all about how good of a GitHub account you have. And so all software developers who have heard about Bitcoin, I think, you know, once upon a time you have thought about contributing to Bitcoin. And of course, the number of accepted pull requests is very, very low. I mean, most people try to do a pull request, they get rejected, but they're still trying. So this is quite important numbers we're looking at when it comes to just developers willing to push. And 34 authors have been accepted. So you have all of these 120 commits during the past months in Bitcoin by 34 different people that have been accepted to the main repository. Looking at Ethereum, you have very similar numbers, that you have 28 authors and you have slightly less commits. But when it comes to commits, I think it's very important to realize that a large commit doesn't necessarily mean a good commit, and a small commit doesn't necessarily mean a bad commit. It's all about the contents of the actual commit. What have you committed? Is your commit structured in a good or a bad way? And so if you look at the actual additions, in Bitcoin you have more commits, but you have less additions. You see, 120 commits during the past month, but only 5,000 additions. Now, looking at Ethereum, you have only 60 commits, but 75,000 additions and 18,000 deletions. And so the number of commits does not directly correlate to number of additions or deletions, basically how many lines were added or deleted. It's all about how does your team work? What are the rules your team has set up for good commits? And this is quite important sometimes to realize as well, that different teams might have different ways of working with commits, and therefore you cannot just blindly compare number of commits here and number of commits there. It's all about what kind of culture the team has developed in their own code base. And for me, the important part is number of people. So number of people here, and also the number of additions and deletions kind of combined. But if you are more experienced, what you can do is, of course, you need to look deeper. You need to look deeper and understand exactly what they are adding and what they are deleting. But I think that is too much for this video. And if you're not a developer and you're only interested, look at numbers of people and look at the number of additions and deletions to kind of judge a cryptocurrency project and any software project really. Now, this can be gamed. I mean, if a project knows that people who are watching our GitHub repository, they are not professionals, they're only looking at these numbers, they can trick this. Basically, they can do many bogus commits that have a lot of additions, a lot of deletions. They can create many users, but I do not think that they will do it. I do not think anyone will do that because, you know, suddenly you have one professional looking at it and they will bust the whole project. They will expose the whole project because the quality of your commits, the quality of how you structure your commit and what kind of code you include, how you document your commit, says a lot about the developers. It says a lot about the experience of developers, how many projects they've been working at. So, you know, as a programmer, what you can do if you have knowledge, if you just go and look here at commits and you look and you read the descriptions, what kind of descriptions they are writing. Is the description so that you understand what has happened? If you look in the code, a experienced developer can actually see, is this a good commit when it comes to bundling together commits, when it comes to actually bundling together code changes in a good way, in a good manner. And therefore, yes, you can trick these statistics, you absolutely can trick all these numbers, but it will just give you very, very bad reputation as soon as someone experienced takes a look and basically says, guys, what is this? Why do you have this empty commits? And basically you will be labeled as a scam very quickly. Now, that was the first part I wanted to discuss. And I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed, guys. If you have, be absolutely sure to smash those likes. And the second part that I think is very important is the news we've seen from Coinbase about adding new coins. And you might remember we mentioned that BAT and 0x have been going up in value during the past 24 hours. Well, the reason is because Coinbase has come out and said that they are thinking, they're just thinking about adding those coins to their exchange. So basically you have this blog post from Coinbase saying that we are thinking and we are experimenting with adding Cardano, BAT, Stellar Lumens, Zcash and 0x. And the reason they are saying it is because, you know, previously they have been accused about inside trading. When you saw Bitcoin Cash suddenly being listed on Coinbase, many people accused Coinbase of insider trading, namely that they said to their team and namely that they said to people working at Coinbase that we are launching Bitcoin Cash, because obviously if you work at Coinbase, you need to know what you are launching because you need to implement it. The developers actually need to program the features. They need to program the features that support Bitcoin Cash being added. And they had a lot of criticism. You know, Coinbase received a lot of criticism for not telling the public that they are planning to launch Bitcoin Cash. And so I think for Coinbase, it's very important to be very transparent. So now they aren't saying that they will add those coins. It is not confirmed, but they are saying that, guys, we are experimenting. This might happen or this might not happen, but our internal team at Coinbase, they are experimenting with these coins and basically they might buy for themselves. For Coinbase as a company, I think it's very important to actually police what your employees are buying. If I work at Coinbase as a developer, for example, and I know that they are going to list Cardano, well, of course, chances are I will go home and buy Cardano. And so this is the thinking we need to understand the Coinbase really need to have, and they are having, that they are very public. They need to tell everything to the public because what Coinbase does affects the market a lot. And when a coin is listed, we just saw that you see surge in prices and they want to be very, very clean. Now, what else is important with this news? Well, it is important to know that both BAT, Basic Attention Token, and 0x are ERC20 tokens. They are ERC20 tokens, which means that if they are able to launch 0x and they are able to launch BAT, They basically have the infrastructure needed, the internal infrastructure needed in order to launch any ERC20 token, because that is the beauty of ERC20. It is a protocol, and if I, as an exchange, if I, invest in building the infrastructure, I invest in building the security models needed, I invest in building the backend code and the server code needed to support one ERC20 token, well, automatically I have been building support for all ERC20 tokens because they are exactly the same. The only thing you need to alter is the contract address of that particular ERC20 token as Coinbase, and suddenly you have a new coin in your exchange. So therefore, it is very important to know that if this change goes through and they're able to launch BAT and they're able to launch 0x, they can very easily launch any other ERC20 token, and maybe it is the case that they will launch all of them, but it is still to be decided in the future, I think. And Coinbase are very careful with what they launch and what they list, because they realize that everyone who is using Coinbase will be exposed to those coins, and if you have some kind of scammy ERC20 coin, Coinbase does not want that. And if anyone has all the eyes of the regulators and all the eyes of the government and tax authorities and SEC and all other regulatory organs, it is Coinbase. They have all eyes on them. So therefore they need to be very careful. They need to do everything by the book. So there are no questions. And we're going to see how this plays out. Just a few weeks ago, Coinbase also said that they will launch Ethereum Classic. Now, Ethereum Classic makes a lot of sense because of the technological similarities to Ethereum. Did I say Ethereum Classic, or what did I say? Did I say it wrong? Well, basically, they came out and said that they're launching Ethereum Classic. And obviously, Ethereum Classic is very like Ethereum, and therefore it is very easy for them to add that coin. But now you also have other coins, and they also noted here that unlike the ongoing process of adding Ethereum Classic, which is technically very similar to Ethereum, this asset will require additional exploratory work, and we cannot guarantee when they will be listed for trading. Sorry guys, here you actually have this. So that is the state of affairs with Coinbase. And this is very important to realize. Following Coinbase is important. I highly suggest everyone to actually subscribe to their blog and be updated with everything they are doing. And something else that is important is that some of you guys are not receiving notifications for the stream, and therefore you can take a look in the description and sign up for our email list, so we will send to you notifications automatically, so that if YouTube for some reason doesn't send you a notification about the live stream, we will do it ourselves. Basically, we are taking the matter into our own hands. I'm not that much about whining. Some people are just whining when it comes to YouTube, that YouTube is not showing their videos, YouTube is not sending out notifications, but at the end of the day, that doesn't help. That doesn't help, and we need to be proactive. So therefore, we are creating our own email list, so if you are not receiving notifications, but you want to watch every live stream and you want to be notified about every live stream and you want to be updated on everything that is happening in the crypto space, and you want to be really part of the crypto community because you need to be updated, take a look in the description guys and sign up for our YouTube notification list. And finally, we have some other news as well, which are quite significant to know about. Basically, you have Bitcoin blackmail scam going after porn viewers, and some people have received this email. Basically, these scammers are saying that they have been recording you when you watched porn, and now they will send it to all your contacts if you do not send them some Bitcoin, basically. But something to realize is that it seems that they have taken the emails and passwords from pwned.com. Is it so you say it? Like, there is a website called Pwned Passwords, where you can download basically passwords that have been hacked. And here you can enter your password and you can see if this password has been hacked in any security breach. For example, if you signed up on some website and that website was hacked and now your password is public, you can take a look and you can actually check it. And the same is with emails. Basically, you can enter your email address here and this website will check if your email has been compromised. You know, in any of the online websites that have ever been hacked, this is a database of all of those hacks and all of the information that became public. And so it seems that these scammers are basically taking the accounts of people who have been hacked previously in different websites, and they are sending out these emails hoping that the people will think that they actually have been hacked when they watched porn, when in reality the scammers just took publicly available emails and passwords that previously were hacked, and now they are hoping that people will fall for it. Now, that being said, guys, if you receive such an email, I cannot guarantee you that they indeed did not record you, but it seems that they are taking emails and passwords that are publicly available. And let us know if you received such emails, because let's be honest, everyone has watched these adult movies once upon a time. Some people tell me, Ivan, I never watched these movies. This is for some other people. This is not for me. But guys, let's be honest. Let's be honest. All of us we have all watched it, and it's just amazing that some people still in daily lives you meet them and they are shocked. They're shocked that it's all those guys who watch adult movies, but I myself, I'm this angel. I have never watched them, and of course you have, and therefore this news is important for everyone. That is why I'm bringing it up. That is why I'm bringing it up. This news is important for everyone. And finally, you have the following situation with McAfee. John McAfee has cancelled an appearance on a conference, basically saying that he received death threats and therefore he will not be able to participate, which is very depressing in my view, that you have John McAfee having to cancel cryptocurrency appearances when it comes to conferences, and basically he cannot because he's afraid for his life. This is something that cryptocurrency world unfortunately will be affected by for a very long time, because when you unbank yourself and you become your own bank, suddenly you have all the responsibility for all your cryptocurrencies, and this is a pro in many ways, but it is a con in the way of security. Suddenly you become the target because you have all your funds. Therefore it is important to always spread out your keys. Do not have a single private key to all your funds. Spread them out, lay them in different cities, maybe even you can put them in different countries, so that if even someone wants to have your money, they can come into your house, but they will not find anything because the keys are spread out. And this is very important to do, and unfortunately that is the state of affairs in cryptocurrency right now. People have one private key and they do not think about the security aspect of having that one private key. And as usual, talk about Bitcoin, do not talk about your Bitcoin, is the #1 rule of cryptocurrency security in my view. There is no reason for anyone to know that you have a certain number of crypto, a certain number of Bitcoin. Talk about Bitcoin, do not talk about your Bitcoin, and talk about crypto, do not talk about your crypto, are the main things I think we need to realize here. So guys, that was all the news I had. Let me take a look in the chat what is actually happening there. As I said, it is amazing to be back. It's amazing to be back. And when I go away for several days, it feels that something is missing. When I do not do Good Morning Crypto 8 AM, something is missing. But now we are back. I see Jimmy saying very red shirt. Yes, it is indeed red. And it is actually from Estonia. I brought back from Estonia. We were shopping. I wouldn't say it is a lot cheaper when it comes to buying good clothes in Estonia. It is a bit cheaper, but not a lot cheaper compared to Sweden. Maybe it is like 20% cheaper. So I thought, you know what, why not do it? And by the way, guys, be sure to check out business.ivanotech.com if you want to learn how big corporations are using blockchain. Because that is what we work with at Stockholm Blockchain, and that is what our customers are doing. And of course, we want to teach you. And the pre-sale ends on October, and that is also when the course is launching. Red t-shirt is tight. Nice. Okay, is there any effect on Bitcoin of signature cryptoverse? I'm not sure what you mean. What kind of signature? Are you talking about Schnorr signatures? Because that is the news we discussed a few days ago when it comes to Bitcoin Schnorr signatures and the BIP that was accepted. How is the vacation with Catalina going on? See her in your Instagram. So I'm not with Catalina actually. Catalina is in Argentina. She was here visiting just a few days. But people get their ideas very quickly, and I have to disappoint you, but I did not travel with Catalina this time. Do you know about Spatium project? I do not, the mad cow. I do not about Spatium. Shout out to women in crypto. Yes, guys, shout out to to all ladies watching the show. Surprisingly, the number of women has grown a lot during the bear market. It is insane. I think we are at about 10% right now, and we went from 1.3% during September, I think. So the growth has been enormous, and it seems that women are more interested in bear market, and I think more and more women found out about our channel and other channels during the bear market, and this is of course very exciting to see that ladies are interested as well. So shout out to all ladies watching, because the share of ladies is growing. It's growing more and more, and I think we are at about 10% currently, and we went from below 1%. Let's see, where is Vitalik? Vitalik is clapping. I saw it. I'm not sure where it is from, but it is pretty funny. Let's see if I can find it. Vitalik is Vitalik is clapping. Let's see. Have you seen this, guys? Let's see. I need to mute this, and then I can turn this up, and then I can do like this. Let's see if you get some sound. You actually do not get the sound. How can I make the sound here? Let's see.
Impressed, happy and clapping.
Yeah, so
Vitalik is impressed.
you might hear it twice because the mic as well, man. Yeah.
Vitalik clapping, 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 clapping. Vitalik clapping, 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 clapping. Impressed. Vitalik clapping. Vitalik impressed. Happy and clapping. Vitalik is impressed.
Yeah, all the credit to the channel that make this video. Hope we're not breaching any copyright. 1000x is where I'm watching this. Maybe the original is somewhere else. But yeah, I saw Vitalik clapping. It is funny. That is funny, guys. What do you think about Substratum? So I think Substratum is quite interesting, and we might do a video on Substratum in the future. Obviously, so when it comes to all these new projects, the level of uncertainty is enormous. When it comes to level of uncertainty, it is enormous. But I think Substratum is interesting when it comes to the tech, and we might do a video in the future. Guys, I smell chicken. I think the chicken is getting done. I think the chicken is getting done. Let me check. Yeah, so the chicken is, oh crap, the chicken is almost done, and I soon have to go and eat. But you realize also, when it comes to chicken, it's important to let it do its thing. Sometimes I was too fast cooking chicken, and you start to cut it, and you realize it's not even done. There is blood in the chicken, or some, red meat. And when it comes to chicken bacteria, you need to be very careful, guys. If there is something you do not want to eat raw, it is chicken. You can eat salmon raw, no problem, but chicken, be careful, be very careful. Thoughts on Cardano? When it comes to Cardano, I'm waiting for the computational layer. the computational layer needs to launch. Thoughts on Cardano otherwise is what I'm always been telling you guys. I think it's very interesting with functional programming. I think it's very interesting with formal verification that they're doing, namely that with functional programming, you can mathematically prove what your smart contract is doing and what your smart contract is not doing. Namely, you could prove that your smart contract will never be hacked in this certain way, or it will never be hacked in this other certain way, and you can build mathematical proofs that it is true. And this is very special, and it is possible to do without functional programming, completely possible to do, but it is just harder. It is harder to do with imperative languages, such as JavaScript, such as Java, such as Solidity, but with, for example, Haskell, and I think Cardano are making their own programming language. I'm sorry, but I do not remember what it is called, but they are making their own functional smart contract programming language. The idea is that you should be able to prove what your contract is doing. Ivan wear pants after all. Yeah, when it comes to these streams, I have pants, but in other streams, who knows? Who knows? And it's impossible to know, guys. It's impossible. Cow shut up says, that's because chicken isn't supposed to be eaten by humans. Cow, are you a vegetarian? Let us know. Because vegetarianism as a concept has been gaining a lot of attention, both in Sweden and internationally. That you see that people are becoming more and more vegetarian and even vegan. It is a modern thing nowadays. And people like to say that they are vegan as if it is some kind of gold medal they have. They're proudly announcing that I am vegan, as if they, as if they won the Second World War and they got some kind of trophy for that, and now they are proudly showing it to the world. And let us know if you are a vegetarian. I think it is good, and maybe it is even more healthy because you're not eating red meat and so on and so forth. I'm not a developer. Can I create BIP if I have good idea? Cryptoverse, you can create a BIP, but if you just look at the way BIPs are structured, even if you are not a developer, you need to explain how you are thinking in mathematical terms. So I think you need to know math, you need to understand how to express yourself in math. But that being said, try pushing a BIP yourself. Absolutely. But you might get the feedback that you are not explaining your idea well enough. If you're not using mathematical notations and basically explain it in a way that can be scientifically understood. And the reason why it is important to express yourself scientifically with mathematical notations, for example, it is not just for fun. It is not just because we want to be, extra geeky and we want to add a barrier to entry. The reason it is important is because the human language, the natural language that we're speaking, for example, English or Swedish or Russian, it is very hard to express precisely what you mean. When you're talking about technological details, using English, using Russian or Swedish or whatever language, Spanish, maybe you speak Spanish, is extremely hard. And therefore, you have mathematical notations to precisely define what you're talking about. So therefore, it might be necessary. Thanks for NKN. Nice. Can any developer let me know if there is DApp to disrupt QuickBooks? Okay, pray over your food and eat. Absolutely. Alright, guys, thank you so much for watching the stream. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I hope this was a fun hour or so we had together, 40 minutes, because that is also very important that you guys are learning. You feel that you have improved as a professional, as a human being. Your interest in cryptocurrencies are growing because you're learning more, you are becoming better and better. And as always, smash the likes if you haven't yet. Check out business.ivanotech.com if you want to be in our new blockchain business course, where we will teach you how big businesses operate with blockchain, basically opening up a whole sea of opportunities when it comes to being in a very vital position in the big business space and blockchain. And that being said, I'll see you all tomorrow in the morning, because currently it is evening here in Sweden. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Have a great day and goodbye, guys. Goodbye.